Hi everyone out there, Kane's Dark Side here for another video for Disney Heroes Battle Mode. Hopefully soon I'll be doing these videos, at least for these kind, on my PC, but for now I'm going to continue it the normal way on my phone. So, we now have the patch notes for 7.8, which was updated yesterday. Thanks, Cariel, for letting me know. I was wondering, I knew they were coming up soon. The data mine files will be up in a few days, once the new updates and stuff come out. So, as speaking of data mine, I data mined these here a while ago, the new stuff that was coming out, and it all came true. Everything that was in the data mine files is exactly what we got, which is pretty cool. I like when that happens. But there is also data mined in, I had seen something on one of the sites, and then I can't even remember where it was, but yeah, I think Gravity Falls is coming up soon. And I know that was a highly requested one. Same thing with Molly McGee. But I had seen that somewhere, so I don't know if any of that's true. I'm going to have to look further into the sites that I go on. So the task at hand. So we now have Pinocchio from Pinocchio, King Candy from Wreck-It Ralph, and Pongo from 101 Dalmatians. So, and also Sapphire is here. And now they're going to mess up Invasion. Yeah, I've been reading a little bit about this. And Invasion's one of those things I don't mind. I do it casually, mostly just when there's something special going on. But I don't know. They're making so many changes, and I'm old school. Like, I've been playing this since like about 4 months after it came out. So, yeah, I'm not too happy about this. I think this is stupid, but we will see. So as it says here, all the updates. We now have Pinocchio, and with Pinocchio will probably be Geppetto soon, I would imagine. So let's do this. And as so we'll see what's going on for animations. I know there's a little bit of people not really liking some of the stuff for some of these new characters, but we'll see. Pinocchio is a frontline tank hero on the blue team and be available in the Battle Pass starting January 6th. So they're going to start off with Pinocchio. World Crash, passive. Every buff or debuff that Pinocchio claims he will apply has a % chance to be a lie. That's kind of funny. Okay. Whenever he lies, he gains lie stack and his nose grows. Whenever he tells the truth, he loses lie stacks and his nose shrinks. Pinocchio can hold up to a maximum amount of lie stacks. Active. Pinocchio spins his entire body, turning into a whirlwind for a few seconds, dealing normal damage to all enemies hit. Each enemy can only be damaged once every few seconds. While spinning, he randomly redirects all incoming damage to either ally or enemy. If the damage is redirected to an ally, it instead creates an HP shield equal to the redirected amount and lasts a few seconds. Additionally, Pinocchio claims that this skill will grant him reflect for a few seconds, knock back all enemies hit, and apply confuse to them for a few seconds. Normal damage. Pinocchio attempts to whistle, claiming that this will cause him to distract, silence, and reduce all enemies' armor and reality by a certain amount for a few seconds. If Pinocchio lied about all these effects, he will be stunned for a few seconds. If at least one of the effects was true, he becomes invincible for a few seconds for each effect that was true. This is kind of weird. I don't know. Let's see. So, lamp fog. Pinocchio throws a lit lamp into a stack of wood and covers it with a cloth, dealing true damage per second for a few seconds to all nearby enemies. Additionally, Pinocchio claims this will cause all enemies to be vulnerable, drain and curse for a few seconds. For every effect Pinocchio lied, he gains hardy stacks and endurance stacks. Additionally, he also gains armor and reality for each lie stack he has. For every effect Pinocchio said that was true, he cleanses himself, gaining determination stacks and basic damage for a few seconds. Okay, Pinocchio's hat. Pinocchio is immune to critical hits, and his armor in reality cannot be negated. For each lie stack, Pinocchio heals himself for some HP per second. When he reaches the maximum number of lie stacks, he also reduces all damage taken by a percent. Each damage dealt by lamp fog also grants Pinocchio an HP shield equal to the damage dealt. So that is all of them. So yeah. So I'm guessing that was his red skill. Now, we're going to go into this. Battle badge. Shield is applied to 2 heroes. Stat stuff. Buff, max HP. Lineup buff, max HP per blue ally. And effect buff, Berserk. His friendships are with Cusco. Very odd. And Woody. I don't know how those stories would play out. Pinocchio and Cusco and Pinocchio and Woody. Who knows? On to King Candy. One of the stranger of the strange for characters. But on the other hand, Wreck-It Ralph was one of the very first characters that came onto the series. That's what launched it, what's in the intro. So putting some of the characters that are missing from Wreck-It Ralph does make sense. But I figured they would have started off 2026 with a bang and had like some big character that people are like, oh my goodness, wow. So I don't know. Okay, King Candy is a frontline support hero on the blue team. King Candy will be available in the prize while starting. Okay. January 13th. Oh. What am I doing? I'm moving. I gotta make everybody dizzy. Okay. So, let's see. Skills. Sour Sprint. See, they tend to have all these different parts to everything, which gets me all confused. Every patch talent given by King Candy is given at a maximum level. King Candy gives himself the blinding attacks and silencing attacks patch talents at the beginning of combat. King Candy summons Sour Bill, who runs in a startled way through the enemy battlefield, dealing fantastic damage to all enemies. Just before Sour Bill proceeds to run, King Candy grants him the Reflection Weaken and Devastating Blows patch talents for a few seconds. So, Sugar Spin. King Candy spins joyfully and gives candy to everyone, damaging enemies for some normal damage and gaining the armor debilitation, reality debilitation, and speed debilitation patch talents for a few seconds. Immediately after, King Candy saps and curses the enemy team for a few seconds. Okay. Now for normal damage. King Candy jumps with enthusiasm, gaining the armor, benevolence, reality benevolence, speed benevolence, patch talents for a few seconds. Sorry if I sound a little stuffy, I've got allergies. Immediately after, King Candy shields himself and his team for some HP. When this shield breaks or is removed, the respective hero gains a heal over time worth a percent of their max HP per second for a few seconds. Okay. When casting Sugar Spin, King Candy additionally gains the power debilitation, damage debilitation, and predictive debilitation patch talents. When casting Candy Bounce, King Candy additionally gains the power benevolence and precision benevolence patch talents. The effects of these patch talents have a chance to fail against allies or enemies higher than a certain level. When casting Sugar Spin and Candy Bounce, all allies gain the same patch talents as King Candy for a few seconds. King Candy starts each wave with the patch talents Invincible Retribution and Invincible Momentum. After Invincible Retribution was used, King Candy regains this patch talent. This effect can happen a certain amount of times per wave. King Candy gains a Fruitful Revenge patch talent at the beginning of the combat. And that was the red I'm guessing the red skill. Now, charge condition. 10 seconds of combat have elapsed. Stat buff, max HP. Lineup buff, max HP per blue ally. Effect buff, heal over time. Okay. Friendships. Kind of weird. Okay, so King Candy and Doofenshmirtz. And King Candy and Queen of Hearts. Now, that I can see. King Candy and Queen of Hearts, they kind of have like a similar kind of look to them. Doofenshmirtz, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. Now, for Pongo. From what I've been hearing, Pongo is not the only one coming out this year. They plan on releasing a couple more characters from 101 Dalmatians. And as someone had pointed out, we knew that there was going to be some characters from 101 Dalmatians coming out because they took Cruella out of Wildcard and put her into another category. I guess that's usually a good sign. So, Pongo is a midline control hero on the blue team. Pongo will be available on the prize wall starting January 22nd. Okay, before I continue, my brain's not working. Battle Pass, okay. I was sitting there trying to figure out the Battle Pass. So Battle Pass is Pinocchio. Now we're talking. Okay, that makes more sense. That's why I was confused at the first. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Battle Pass for. But you don't need to pay for Battle Pass because if you actually finish the Battle Pass to the end, usually you get that anyways at the end. Okay, sorry about that. Yes, so prize wall is January 22nd for Pongo. Now, his skills. Chomp Charge. Pongo barks at all enemies, snaring them and reducing their basic damage and skill power for a few seconds. This reduction increases by an additional amount every second that passes during battle. It's the same old animation. That's the problem. There's no, I don't know. It's like others on my channel have commented that they need to come up with better animations for them. Every dog has a bite or has this or has that. Okay, let's go. Pongo leaps forward and bites the furthest enemy, dealing normal damage. If that enemy has no allies nearby, this attack instead deals true damage. Pongo then limits the target's energy to a certain cap for a few seconds. Each time the enemy attempts to gain energy beyond this limit, they receive fatigue stacks and take true damage per second for a few seconds. Each hero can have a maximum of DOTs at the same time. Pongo prioritizes enemies whose energy is not currently limited, and during this skill is immune to disables. Now, normal damage. Alpha Howl. Pongo howls at the sky, applying weakness stacks and studying all enemies for a few seconds. While studied by Pongo, enemies cannot gain shields. Additionally, Pongo also gains an HP shield for every point of energy the enemies currently have. Now, Branch Whack. Pongo charges toward the first enemy, then sweeps the floor. Dealing normal damage, removes buffs, and pierces the target for a few seconds. Additionally, Pongo knocks all enemies except the targeted enemy towards Pongo's side of the battlefield. Pongo's Collar. Pongo starts the combat invisible for a few seconds, and every time an enemy is KO'd while it has debuffs applied by Pongo, he becomes invincible for a few seconds. While he is invisible, all enemies are vulnerable, limited, and have their armor and reality reduced. The Owner's Hat. While Pongo is on, this is the red skill. While Pongo is on the battlefield, enemies cannot gain overload. After using Chomp Charge, if the targeted enemy is KO'd in the following few seconds, Pongo will gain energy. All enemies Pongo passes through during Chomp Charge or Branch Whack receive decay stacks, have their attack and movement speed reduced, and are stunned and drained for a few seconds. Doesn't really seem like I don't know. they seem to rinse and repeat with a lot of characters. Charge condition. Invisible is applied to 2 heroes. Stat buff, max HP. Lineup buff, max HP per control ally. And effect buff, energy gain. Friendships, Marie and Bolt. Well, I can see the whole thing. Yeah, okay. One's a cat, one's a dog. I can see that. Challenger, Season 77. So, 101 Dalmatians, Wreck-It Ralph, Zootopia, Coco Elemental, Atlantis, Robin Hood, Sleeping Beauty, Lion King, Finding Nemo, Tangled, The Little Mermaid, Phineas and Ferb, The Aristocats, Owl House. Spotlight heroes are going to be Pinocchio, Pocahontas, Merida, Luca, and Alberto, and Rocketeer. Yeah. And now we have the Sapphire rarity. Another one. I don't even have one character. I think 24 is the closest I got. Well, with all the new updates and everything, it takes so much now to get gold, and you have to go so far, and it's just, I would not want to be a starting character. I think I don't even know what I would do, because everything is just so crazy. Like, even now they've made it so difficult to do your discs and stuff. Like, how are you even supposed to do one now? I don't know. Now we're into a whole new realm. So they've added a bunch of new additions, which I don't feel are needed, but they've done them. Introducing hybrid mods. 2 new mod types that combine 2 stats into a single mod slot. There's 2 types of hybrid mods, HPSP mods and HPBD mods. They will offer both of these stats on a single mod and combination upgrades of the previous mods. However, in hybrid mods, 2 new exclusive upgrades will be available. Normal crit negation and fantastic crit negation. Hybrid mods are the only way to increase the 2 brand new stats. Mods revamp. The entire mod system has been rebalanced to match current power levels. Mods base stats gain were severely increased. Mod level cap was increased to 250. Mod tier cap was increased to 23. BD and HP upgrade effects were increased, and SP upgrade effects were decreased. New stats will be added to every hero with the release of Sapphire. Normal crit negation, fantastic crit negation. They reduce the total damage taken from critical hits by 0 to 100. Upon reaching 100, negation heroes take no damage from normal or fantastic crit hits, especially nullifying the entire attack. And they're also overhauling Invasion. I don't know why they're overhauling Invasion. I'd rather just got rid of it, really, or come up with something better. So Invasion's going to become really, really, really complicated, even for my little pea brain. Invasion will see some much needed improvements in the guild boss fight. I've read this all over, so yeah, here we go. Introducing boss traits. Boss traits are strengths and weaknesses that each boss possesses that will make each fight an engaging and unique problem to solve. Instead of just rushing through them now, you have to figure this all out. Boss traits can be divided into boss augments and boss breakouts. Boss augments are buffs that empower the boss, providing advantages against certain teams. Boss examples of augments are boss ignores, reflects some of the normal fantastic true damage taken. Boss is immune to normal fantastic damage. Every few seconds the boss cleanses himself. He could prevent a certain buff from being applied. Every few seconds emits a pulse dealing normal fantastic damage. Every few hits the boss becomes invincible. This is like a slap in the face to people that have been playing this game like me for the last 7-8 years. And it's a slap in the face to people that have been playing it just maybe a year. Anyways, Boss breakpoints. Conversely, to augment breakpoints or weaknesses that players can exploit to maximize their combat effectiveness. Examples of breakpoints are when debuffed a certain number of times with a specific debuff, it loses a percentage of its health. When debuffed a certain number of times with specific debuff, it receives increased normal, fantastic, true damage. For every specific amount of damage taken, the allied team gains a percentage of their stats. For refuse disables granted, the boss is disabled for some time. Okay. Each boss will feature a curated combination of augments and breakpoints to ensure that every fight is strategic and engaging. That's just another way to say we don't want you to beat anything anymore because you're beating it too fast. So when you're trying to get to 100, to get that grand prize or whatever it is, instead of it just taking you like a half hour or less, it's going to take you a couple of hours. And additionally, guilds that coordinate fights can stack a lot of breakpoints and maximize their damage and have an easier time climbing the leaderboards. Guild bosses are now immune to damage based on a percentage of their max HP. Oh, yay. This is where you and your guild will have the opportunity to earn the new mods. Only a limited number of guild bosses available for each active period, so make sure to properly coordinate attacks with your guildmates so you can earn rewards. Players can earn a new mod through the participation rewards of defeating a guild boss with the potential to earn 2 or more mods per boss if you deal the final blow, deal the most damage, and more. If you prefer the classic invasion story style, don't worry. Solo bosses will keep the old mechanics and will not have these new traits. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. I'm interested. Maybe when the new invasion comes out and they do all this, I'll do like a short little video and see if there is any actual changes to it. Codebase, another thing they're changing. So, Codebase is one of those things that's been really garbage. I mean, you can do pretty much any event and have these, get all this stuff. I never do Codebase trials because it's not needed anymore. In efforts to streamline the gaming experience, improve the Codebase reward system, Megavirus is teaming up with MamaBot and joining the invasion game mode. Oh my goodness. Oh, we've seen a lot of interest expressed in keeping the solo boss. We wanted to honor that sentiment with improvements. The Megavirus will now be the solo boss in Invasion. You can infinitely grind for as many megabits as you can earn from defeating the solo boss during the active period. Also adding back some Codebase chests to the regular Invasion progression, so you'll be rewarded with more megabits each week than before. We hope you're as excited as we are, and please share feedback. Yeah, don't worry, I will. I'll reserve anything until I see how it works out, because I've been playing this game for about 8 years now, so I'll be the judge of it. I don't like change and stuff sometimes. My biggest problem, I think, with change is the change they made to discs. I never had a problem getting through discs, and then all of a sudden it's like you go to do a playthrough, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're losing. Like, what? Okay. Now, added patch talents, description page to the patch talent, how to play screen. Changed Darwin's vulnerability to be slows instead of just snares. That's another thing I gotta do is a Darwin video. I'm trying to build up enough resources because Piglet took them all. Now, I'm also going to do one for Lightning Queen. Okay, fix the crash when using Bambi Invasion. Fix the crash when tapping some of the tooltips in the filter screen. And now, content adjustments. Heroes will not appear in new locations until they refresh. So everybody, as you know, Pinocchio is the new Battle Pass hero. Lightning McQueen becomes the next arena challenger hero. Every time it happens. That's why I said I'm not paying $26.99 for something that's going to be an arena. I'm going to get an arena anyways, and I already have Lightning McQueen. Darwin becomes the next Coliseum. Nice and easy. Same thing will happen this month. Pinocchio will eventually become the arena challenger hero. Okay, Bambi becomes the contest rank reward hero. Ernesto de la Cruz is the VIP crate. Anui enters the Coliseum, Scat Cat Arena, Headless Horseman City Watch, and Embarrassment Gazelle, Envy, and Abby Mallard enter the Diamond crates. Marie enters the Guild crate. Piglet and Dr. Calico are both entering the War Shop. Weird. Okay. Which means it'll be really easy to get Piglet if you didn't get them this time. And don't forget, if you get enough for let's say you're going for Piglet and you're like, I don't want to go any further, you just unlock what you want, save your chips because you can use them for this one. They do carry over. Okay, Giselle, Carl the Robot, Hector Rivera, and Samaya enter the Elite campaign. So it means you can actually try to go for them if you didn't get them yet. And from January 13th, King Candy enters the prize wall. Pongo is the 22nd. And this Tuesday, there will be a full server update. And once that full server update is done, that's when they find the data mine files. And then you'll get a video saying what the new characters that are coming up for. Hopefully one of your favorites will be in there. I know I've heard some rumors about different ones that are coming out. I know one of the ones that I had seen last year that there was hints about was Lewis Robinson. It never happened, so maybe it'll happen this year. And I know you guys have a lot of hopes for stuff. Best thing to do too is pay attention to the upcoming stuff that's coming out for movies or for cartoons and stuff. Pay attention because a lot of the time they use them for this game for promotion. And the fact that it's been around for 8 years and has such a big following, it makes a difference. And so, please note the heroes on the Elite campaign have been slightly adjusted. And like I said, full server update. And that is it for this video. Whew, that's a lot to take in. And and thanks again for Cariel for letting me know everything that's coming out of everything, because I'm a busy guy and I don't get a chance to check Discord and check Reddit, and so it's good to have someone to let me know what's going on. Well, thank you so much for watching all these videos. Keep your predictions coming along. Let me know what you would like to see in this. Once in a while I do send messages to PurBlue, and just kind of like suggestions when you guys suggest stuff. I do send them some of the messages to PurBlue for suggestions. It never hurts to put a bug in their ear what the public would like. And thank you so much for watching all the videos. Feel free to like the video and subscribe to my channel for lots more Disney Heroes Battle Mode. Till next time, happy tapping, because this is the way.